Okay, so let's recap a bit. It's been a while. We actually recorded an entire podcast and then lost it. It
My
got
bad.
deleted some. Yeah. Um, so I don't totally remember where we were last time, but I remember you were about to post a blog post.
Mhm.
Uh, I think it was the one on Apple, on you not being happy with Apple. And then I was about to upload a video or something.
Yeah. I,
Oh,
you had just uploaded a video, something like that, but I think you've done one in the meantime because it's been a bit of a gap. And I actually was pretty excited about that one and wanted to talk about it. So, yeah, maybe we just kind of recap what has happened in the last month.
okay. Well, if you want to talk about my YouTube video, let's do that. And then I also want to ask you about your Apple blog post because I think that was kind of interesting. Um, but yeah, I've done two videos. I'm trying out uh a new rhythm, and
Mhm.
I've only done it twice, but I'm this is the thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do a new video and then alternate to a new drawing and then a new video and then a new drawing. So every other week is a new video or a new drawing.
Cool.
So this week I've got to finish a drawing. I'm almost done with it. I got to finish that, and then on Wednesday I'm going to try to record my next video. I have no idea what it's going to be about, no clue. Um, and then I'll get back to the drawing. I've done this twice now, three or I don't know, but I'm kind of excited about this little routine. We'll see
I
if I
would
can keep it up.
say if you've already done it a few times, then that counts as a rhythm. I mean, it has sustained this far. Okay, let's talk about your video because I
Okay.
I was pretty excited about it. So I'm gonna say the two negatives first, and then we can talk about the other
Well,
stuff.
real quick, this is the thumbnail video, right?
Yeah. The
I made 50 thumbnails for my world building project or something. I've
yeah,
changed the
yeah.
title actually. But
Okay, well, I have the D arrow extension that ungoofs up your title anyway. So it doesn't matter as much for me. Anyway, so two things I didn't like. One, I think your mic was a little bit hot, so you are clipping a little bit. Fix that. Great. And I'm one to talk. I super screwed up my audio for our last podcast and I sound terrible. So let's both do better. Second, I think the video was a little bit too long. I think
Mhm.
it would have kind of hit a little bit harder if it was just a little bit shorter. Like cut out the least interesting 20%. Something like that. So those are my two criticisms.
All right.
But with that out of the way, it was by far my favorite video that you've done. It was exactly what I was hoping you would do. And I just thought it absolutely nailed exactly what I want to see from you and from this world building process. It was other than those caveats, perfect for me.
Why?
And
Why?
the comments seem to reflect that. A lot of people were saying things like this is the best thing on YouTube and things like that. Like I think you crossed a bit of a threshold where it felt like something special. So amazing job.
I'm I'm thank you. Um yeah, the audio is a boring thing to discuss, and it's funny because I got some people saying, "Oh, it's way better. It sounds perfect," and then other people saying it's super hot and it doesn't sound good. Whatever. But I think I
To,
know what I did, and I'm gonna try to fix that. Also,
yeah.
I definitely need to get some soundproofing and whatever.
To
Go
be
ahead.
clear, I think in the previous video, people were saying that the music was too loud or too conflicting with your speech. I think I agree with that more or less. It wasn't a huge problem, but I do agree. Sometimes I don't know if this is a problem for you, but it's common that a video will be too quiet. But I'm specifically saying that your mic was too hot and it is clipping. So your speech
Okay.
sounds harsh because it's clipping.
I think I hit auto balance, and I thought that would make it better, and I think it made it start clipping because it pushes the voice. Anyway,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
I will
That's all.
pay attention to that. Yeah. Um The video itself, okay, so I'm getting, yeah, really great comments. Pretty decent retention. So people that are clicking are actually watching it all the way
Yeah.
through. But it's doing like half as well as the video before it, which, it could just be title, it could be thumbnail, whatever. But so well, maybe we don't care about that, but we do care about that. Um, I'm trying to wrap my head around it because I've gotten a lot of maybe not conflicting comments. Like generally, people are liking it. Even friends that are watching it or whatever. Like people are like, "This is good. We like it." But I'm curious as to why you think it is like the best one and why it is exactly what you wanted to see or what you think I needed to do. You put it into words.
I can try. I mean, ultimately, it is a piece of art, and it is hard to fully explicitly articulate why something works and why it doesn't, but I'll try. I think what made it feel really good to me is that one, it felt very authentic. It felt like you were talking to the audience in a very straightforward, friendly, comfortable way. It I mean the production of the video was good. It wasn't as highly produced as others, but it felt natural. It didn't feel like we were watching you on a stage putting on a show. It felt like you were talking in a very authentic way to the audience. That is, I think, extremely important. Two, it really put the art and the process of making the art out in front. It felt like we were just seeing what it is you're working on, hearing you explain what was difficult and what felt good, and just you exploring the art in a way that made us feel like we're just kind of exploring it along with you. It didn't feel so much like a show and tell where you're kind of showing off things and trying to create some kind of look, I did a good job, or no I didn't, or it just felt simple, authentic, real, like we're just exploring the art along with you. And then I know that we've discussed this a bit, and people do have um different takes on it, but I really like exploring the world through your eyes or through you talking about it. You know, uh the scripted read it top to bottom stories that you've done in the past, like the Lonely Fisherman and everything. It's not that I don't like them, but it just doesn't feel as natural to me. The way that I want to discover the lore is by you just being excited about it and talking about it and starting to figure it out yourself. That feels very authentic. In the same, I think of it like learning about the lore in a game where it's not a movie, it's not scripted. You don't go from scene to scene and see everything play out linearly. You're just exploring and you uncover certain bits of information, and then you wander off and uncover other bits, and they connect and maybe they don't or whatever. But you're just exploring and discovering and kind of building up this idea in your head about what you're looking at and what the world is like. That just feels really good to me. And I also feel like it fits really well with what you're actually doing. And you explained this in the video, but you are also just kind of discovering it, finding things that are not even explicit narratives. They're just an object or a feeling, or you hold up certain things and say, this exists in this world. I don't exactly know how or why, but it does. This is a thing that I want, and so is this. And that just feels really good. It's very fun to explore it that way. And it feels like it fits really well with the way that you're going about it. And so I think that just feels natural. It's a fun thing to see and watch.
Okay, I like that. Any ideas for the next video?
Uh I mean,
Because well, this one was people have been pointing out the thumbnails that I did, and so I knew that there was an interest there.
mhm.
And so I kinda knew that this video would be stronger because I I'd thought about it for a little bit longer. So now I'm kind of empty. I got a few ideas, but I haven't really decided on one. But that's what I'll be shifting to as soon as I finish my next drawing.
Well, is it going to be
Um,
around your next drawing? Is that the theme of the next
I
video?
wanna, I kind of want to save that for like its own video, make a bigger one. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I need to brainstorm about
Yeah.
that. Really think about it. Because I was thinking like I want a big video for this drawing and this story, but it could be that maybe that's not the way to go, and it's more about shorter ones, which I think I'm starting to lean towards. I'm just not sure how to break it up.
Yeah.
Um, but
I mean, the shorter, simpler ones, if you're going to do it every 2 weeks and you don't even get a full 2 weeks to work on it, you get maybe a week.
no, I
I,
get well. I've only been giving myself. I've been recording the dialogue on Wednesday, and then I upload either Saturday or Sunday.
well,
So it's Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 4 or 5 days, and then it's up. And I'm
right.
I'm trying to keep it that short so I don't get too attached to it.
Yeah.
I definitely I definitely did get a bit more attached to this last one than the one before it. And I could feel when I uploaded the red flag of, "Oh no, you're gonna overthink your next one because you care too much about this one." And I could feel the pain more when the views weren't doing well for this video than I did in the one before it, because I didn't yeah. So I gotta step back a little bit, maybe care a
Yeah.
little bit less about this next one, get back to sort of a nonchalant, quick video thing.
Yeah.
This one, I got a little more attached to it, even though it was only 4 days. Yeah.
I think you do. And I think that is the main lesson to take out of it. On the view thing though, I I feel like you get a handful of signals based on the thing that you put out. View count is the strongest one because it is such a one-to-one high score type of thing.
Yeah.
But you also get other metrics like viewer retention and everything and click-through rate and things like that. And then you also get just what people say and how they respond verbally to what you've put out. I think you should not overweight the view counts. At
I'm
least from my experience, it doesn't always track how good something is.
I totally agree, but I'm struggling with how to form that. What is my mental model of, the success of a video, or what should I be judging it on? And because YouTube is, and you talked to me about this, or we talked about this, about how I am making YouTube videos, right? I'm not making films. I'm not making a Netflix documentary.
Right.
I'm making YouTube videos. So how do I make the best YouTube videos? And so I'm trying to use YouTube metrics to judge
Hmm.
that. And view count is certainly one of them. Also retention, also, click-through rate, whatever. Like I'm trying to look at the different metrics to
Yeah.
see sort of what's hitting, what's not. Obviously, also looking at the comments, uh, looking a lot at the comments.
Hmm.
Um, and I want to know what people like, also what I like to make. But I mean, I think you're right. Like I shouldn't be paying too much attention to the views, but at the same time, it's
Yeah.
one of the main metrics to kind of judge how well your YouTube video is doing. So I'm trying to grow up. Like I'm trying to be more mature about this and not feel like it's make or break. And for the last two videos, I've definitely felt better, but I'm still not totally sure how to view it. Like obviously, the more videos I have, the easier it is. Well, hopefully, the easier it is to kind of see it as, its own entity, or like a bigger volume helps you not put so much pressure on one video,
Yeah.
right? Like the more art I create, the less important each individual one feels, which makes it easier as you go along. The bigger the collection's got, the easier it is to do a picture.
Hmm.
That's not always true, but
Yeah.
so help me if you can form a new way of viewing this. Um, But I don't know. I mean, you had a lot of
Yeah.
experience with this. Um,
Here's a simplistic mental model that you can try out for YouTube. I see it as having three basic components to any video you put out. The first is the search engine nature of YouTube, which that's more or less what it is. You either literally type something in search and it gives you a bunch of results that are supposedly relevant to that search query, or you kind of search by watching a video and then YouTube assumes that you are interested in that video, things similar to it. It also considers other videos you've watched in the past, but either way, you're kind of exploring YouTube through like the lens of I have this interest. What corresponds to this interest? So it is a search engine. So part of how well a video does, actually a huge part of how well a video does, is how often does it come up in the search results. Now, it could just be
mhm.
that somebody likes your channel and therefore YouTube is going to recommend your channel videos to them. But a ton of traffic comes from outside of that. So your world building video did well in search one way or another. A lot of people, it got put in front of a lot of people and they thought, oh, I am interested in world building. Here is a video on world building. It is a very straightforward thing. So that's the first piece of it. The second is the promise that you make to a person. This is kind of tied to the search result, but you are saying to them through the thumbnail, the text that is usually on the thumbnail, and then the title of the video, plus other metrics like your channel name and view counts and stuff like that. But mostly like thumbnail title, you're making a promise to them saying, if you watch this video, I'm going to something. I'm going to show you my world building. You're going to learn something about world building that you're interested in, or I'm going to show you cool art or whatever. But like you're implying some kind of promise. And then the third thing is your delivery on that promise, which is literally the video itself. Like how well does it satisfy this thing, interest, want that they had? So the fact that your retention is very high and you got extremely positive comments saying, I love this, this is amazing, means that you delivered on the promise very well. People saw that video, it implied certain things to them. Like, I think if I click on this, I'm going to get something, the look into Daniel's process. And they did, and they're extremely happy. So like the third thing, the actual quality of the video and its delivery on its promise was very high, really, really good. So that's very important. View counts mostly have to just do with the first two. And really the first one, like how many people are being shown this video. You don't, in theory, the better the metrics, like the better you deliver on the promise, the better the video is going to do. But in practice, it doesn't translate all that well. You might be competing for a tiny niche of a spot in terms of like the interest space of YouTube. So like, yeah, you're really good at this tiny little niche interest, but it's still, no matter what, it's a tiny little niche interest. So
Yeah.
the view counts mostly have to do with one, how are you doing in the search algorithm? Is this a hot term? Is it a thing that people are interested in? And then two, how enticing is the promise within that little niche that you're popping up in? So the lower view counts to me are a signal about those first two categories. And this is the reason why I think you have to be pretty careful about paying attention to view counts too much, is because it could just have a lot to do with the actual search term part of it, and you just don't
Yeah.
have much control over that. Like you can try and steer your videos towards something that is going to get more traffic, talk about the latest developments in politics over the past hour, and you're going to get this huge amount of traffic, but like, you're not doing that. So
Yeah.
it's just kind
Well,
of
I
a hard
think
number to pay attention to.
well, one thing I am excited about and I'm very happy with is that in a lot of the comments and just what I'm seeing in my subscriber count is that people are finding me and then watching most of my videos and following along. which is more meaningful and important to me than a view count on a video. Um, so I mean, I guess in theory you want both. You want people that stick around,
Mhm.
um, which I'm getting, which is awesome. Um, but you also want people to find you, or
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna keep doing this, and I think it'll be okay. But it is like I want to be able to look at the videos and learn from them, right? Like close the feedback loop, like make the
Mhm.
feedback loop quicker and improve faster. But I'm having a hard time actually judging what the feedback is, like yeah, I shouldn't pay attention to views, but also views are important. Yes, I want to, if I'm getting
Mhm.
good comments,
Yeah.
that is, one of the most important things to me, or the most important thing, I guess. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to form my, like,
Yeah.
mental model of how the YouTube thing works, and, yeah.
I would also say that the the viewer that sticks around and is going to watch most of your released videos and winds up going through your whole channel and like feels like they have built some kind of connection to you, that person is vastly more valuable than a kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
drive-by viewing that a popular video gets. I mean, as an example, you go look at channels that do things like Gandalf sax music 10 hours, or it's just something that's kind of memey and funny, and they might have millions of views, many many millions of views on a video, and you look at their sub count and it's like 800. I mean, the
Yeah.
numbers are vastly out of whack, and it's because nobody cares about them. They're not even a person. It's just like a video that showed up that is
Mhm.
interesting. And what's the value of that? I mean, it's basically nothing. So, I just don't think that the numbers on the surface don't capture the importance of those people that well. And if you're talking about selling art, or trying to build up a Patreon where people are supporting you, those people are basically all that matters. Obviously, more exposure can lead to more of those people, but it just,
Mhm.
the view counts don't really show that.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm learning, is that I would rather have, smaller view count, higher
Yeah.
engagement, people that actually care about it than a super viral video where you only get, tiny
Right.
percentage of that actually cares. I mean, I would take that too, but but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm learning. I'm trying to figure it out. I've put my Patreon kind of on hold. I don't know. I gotta figure that out too. I gotta figure everything out. I haven't heard back from MegaCon still, but even if MegaCon doesn't go through, I'll try to do another show this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other statements on my YouTube stuff?
No, I was super happy with the latest video, just from my tastes. I thought it was great. So,
Well, thank
good
you.
job.
You want to talk about your blog post for a little bit? Uh,
Y- Sure, there's not too much to talk about, but
Well, I was curious about because you were very nervous about posting this one because it sort of goes after Apple a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean you kind of tell them that their programming stuff is trash. So you were a little nervous about posting it. And
yeah.
I didn't keep up with it too much, but it looked like there was quite a lot of attention on it. Maybe not quite as big as your first one or something, but it seemed like people were eating it up and agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Um,
There was a few people who didn't, but for the most part, yeah. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, did it I go?
no. So yeah, we talked about it. I can't remember if this made it on the podcast or not because of whatever, but you had encouraged me to just be brave and say mean things about powerful people, and so it's like, okay, yeah. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I don't think they're gonna put me in Guantanamo for saying that Xcode is a bad piece of software. So yeah, I went ahead and wrote it. I didn't worry about trying to pull punches or whatever. I just tried to make it as honest and fair as I could. And I'm really happy with it. Uh the process of going through it and going through the writing pipeline, we've talked about this a little bit before, but I'm starting to feel pretty comfortable in the process of writing something like this. I did get a little bit stuck. I actually talked to you, and you kind of had to coach me through getting through the end of it. You told me to write everything on like a scrap piece of paper, so it didn't feel as psychologically uh, important as writing it in my journal, and that worked. That was great. But for the most part, other than that hiccup that I had to phone a friend for, um, I like my process. I feel like it's something I can replicate, and it feels good to me, and I don't feel like I get stuck, again, that one exception, like nearly as much as I used to. And it's pretty simple. I I just start by, obviously I have some topic or idea or thing that I want to start pursuing, and my only goal at the beginning is to just discover whatever the fundamental pieces of information are, just the concrete simple things that I can recognize as basic facts or an opinion that I have or anything like that. And I just bullet point them out. And there's no organization, there's no nothing, there's no narrative, no concern for like the shape of the article or anything like that. It's just what are the objective bits of information that could wind up in this article. So I was writing about a piece of software. And so I would, little examples would pop in my head. Like, oh, I've encountered this bug and it's ridiculous and it's annoying. So I would write that little thing down. Or I would say, this is a gotcha that most people don't recognize. Or Apple talks about security, but they've had huge security failures, and write things down like that. And I just assemble this list. And then once I've really built that out, um, and it often takes some experimenting, trying to explore certain things like, oh, is this actually true? I'll make a little note if I need to check this or whatever, things like that. But once I've like assembled this pile of basic bits of information, then I just start turning that into some kind of narrative where it has sentences that connect and has some shape. And it feels, to me at least, it really helps solve a problem that I kept having, which was this constant conflict between these opposing goals, where I would want something to be short and simple, but I also wanted to have it contain a lot of information, or I'm writing about one thing and I want to figure out how to transition to something else. Like all those decisions where things were all mixed together, it like separates the process out a lot, where it's just think of all the info and then shape it into some kind of narrative. So anyway, I have been doing it that way. I've been really enjoying it. And then I did that for this article and it did really well. It got a lot of traffic on Hacker News, which is my intended audience. It got lots and lots of comments, largely agreeing. Um, you know, I had some comments saying like, I totally disagreed with your premise, but then I read it and realized that actually this makes total sense, and I've just gotten used to all of these issues. So you're right. Like to me, that's a great compliment in that it's kind of validating the actual contents of the article as being persuasive. So I just felt really great about it. And it's really nice to get like good success on two things rather than one, because
Right.
when it's one, you're always kind of sitting on this feeling of, well, what if it's just what if it's kind of luck? What if it's just the topic? What if it doesn't have much to do with me? But when you get another bit of success, it's like, okay, people are connecting with me in some way. Like I am able to deliver something that, that I set out to do, and it's not just a one-off. So that was a big comfort to me.
That process sounds similar to mine, and it's also a good reminder for me to go back to that. For my last video, the thumbnail one that we just talked about, um, I actually tried to write it like 4 different ways. I wrote a word for word script, and then I rewrote that. I recorded that. Like, I
Yeah.
recorded a couple different versions of it. Um, I kept rewriting it, and eventually I settled on, "Here's a couple bullet points, I will just talk to the camera," instead of a script.
Yeah.
And, I think I realized that that is just how I have to do it. Um, but I have not nailed down a perfect process for it. And the one before it was 5 minutes, and this one was like 10 minutes. You told me it's a little too long. That might be true. I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know how I
mean
would have,
I
but
don't mean long in terms of length. I just mean I think if you had forced yourself to compress it a little bit, it just would have hit harder. And it's like
it
a
was it was 40 minutes long. Um,
okay, well there you go. It's like a
yeah,
comedian, if you got to do an hour set, you got to fill an hour. But if you're doing 10 minutes, you want your absolute best jokes in that 10 minutes. So I
yeah.
just had that feeling. It's not that clear of a piece of feedback. Maybe it wouldn't have worked anymore. I don't know, but just a
Well, I
thought.
don't know either. But I would be curious to hear how you continue to develop a process for writing blog posts
Yeah.
to get it to an actual repeatable thing because uh, video making has never been a part of my life before. I
Hmm.
mean, only for fun. It's never been a repeatable process that I've had to make.
Yeah.
It's not like I've never made videos like once a week or once a month or something. It's never been like that before. So this is totally new and it's very creative. And nailing down a creative or a repeatable process for a creative endeavor,
Hmm.
it feels impossible at first. Um, but I'm starting to see little patterns that I do for developing, like the script part of it. And just you putting that into words has kind of helped me realize that that is what I do. I just kind of bullet out all of these
Yeah.
without judgment. You just brainstorm all the little facts and opinions you have and then try to spin that into something. I don't know how to describe this, but like okay, with my YouTube videos, I want to make a video about 5 minutes long, every 2 weeks. Well, that's easy to say, or that's like an easy template to tell yourself or to keep in mind. But when you go to actually talk about a specific subject, they don't all fall into 5-minute segments. Like when I was thinking
Hmm.
about the thumbnail stuff, it didn't fit in 5 minutes and I had to extend it to 10, which you think is okay, but it can cause a problem because 10 minutes is a lot more editing, a lot more
Hmm.
time consuming. Um, So for you, it's like writing a blog post. There's like this end product that you want to apply to everything, or like an end length, right? You don't want it to be 100 pages long article. The blog post has to fit a certain length at the end. Um, but then you have these ideas that you don't know actually how long it will take for you to
Hmm.
say them.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of struggling a little bit with that, I guess it's just experience or whatever. But I'm wondering if there's anything there. I don't know, it's just kinda interesting coming from
Yeah.
one angle versus coming from the other, where you're viewing the subject matter as the decider of the length of an article or a video,
Hmm.
or or maybe it's in the editing process that I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I
No, I
just think
get
that's
it.
interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, even the blog post, like I wrote this down before I went to write this article because I I like to have at least some sense of like, okay, vaguely how long ought this to be? Because when you're writing it, it's not always obvious how long it is or whatever. So I don't remember the range, but it was big. It's like my shortest article was a 3 minute read, 800 words or something vaguely like that. And then my longer article was 5 times as long. It was, much long, 15-minute read, which is not massive, but it's still a lot bigger. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
that's my range. Really big. And it could even be bigger than that. It's fine. But just having that very vague ballpark to play in of I want somewhere between 800 words and 4,000, that's kind of where I'm at. And so if I have 2,000 words, it's like, okay, I can wrap this up or I can keep going, whatever. But yeah, just it's a big scope. I don't think it matters too much. What I do think matters a lot, and I've been really trying to pay attention to this, is uh the density of interesting things that are in the narrative. So, like I said, I have my
yep,
bulleted list of these things are interesting. if I wasn't able to write a narrative and I just needed to give somebody like, hey, I only have so many words. Here's what you need to know. This is that list. It's all of the bits of real information that need to be communicated. So you, by having that, and then by having the narrative, I can write a paragraph or a couple paragraphs and then compare that to my actual list and like tick off the things that I have included. And if it's only one or two, that's not good. I'm doing a lot of just sort of waffling and drifting and transitioning, and that's not good. Like, I'd way rather be shorter and choppier at the expense of the narrative flow, because in my case, I'm not writing a fantasy novel. I'm communicating somewhat technical information to a somewhat technical audience. So I want high information density. And I've had people specifically say, this is great. This has a lot of really good info in a short and understandable way. Like they've complemented exactly what I was hoping to hear. So that to me is a very important thing. If you are, of course, a video is a bit different because it's not just the, spoken narrative, it's also what you see on screen and everything. But if you are kind of thinking that way, paying attention to just how frequently am I showing somebody or telling them something interesting. If it's a high rate of interesting things, the actual length doesn't matter that much. And that person's going to be in front of their phone for hours watching different YouTube videos. Like they're there for it. That's all anyone does anymore. You just need to make it interesting and sustain the interesting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, save the drifting for the podcast.
Yeah, this is where
One.
we talk about nonsense with a
But
very
I really
low interesting thing density.
I mean, I definitely wander on the podcast. I also definitely wander when I'm recording my YouTube videos. Like, I will have an idea of what I want the video to be about, and then I'll start talking about it, and it's totally different. Like,
Yeah.
and I think I've just accepted that that is who I am. That I cannot stick exactly to a podcast or to a topic. I also can't stick to a podcast. Um, like I cannot follow the bullet points exactly, and I
Which
will
is
end up
fine.
somewhere else. Yeah, I think I'm accepting as
Yeah.
just that's part of who I am. Yeah.
And even in my system, which is simpler than yours, I'm just writing an article, you're producing a video. So it's almost like I stop when the script is done. I don't have
Oh,
to perform it.
I genuinely think if you used your article as a script, recorded you reading it, and then just dumped a bunch of B-roll on top of that, it would be it would
Well,
destroy my videos. They would do really, really well.
I am unsure of that. But also, dump a bunch of B-roll is a very short way of saying do a lot of work and produce an
Or hire
entire
an
video.
editor.
Well, there's nothing for them to edit. Like, I don't have B-roll. I would have to make it all. I'm just saying, it's a lot of work,
Well,
as
like
you know.
your first article with the tech stuff, with you were
Yeah.
doing like your all your computing with VR or whatever,
Hmm.
you could make that. I'm just saying, I think those videos would do well.
I'm not.
Um,
I'm not rejecting the idea.
oh, the other thing I was gonna say is that I made $20 off
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
so that's cool. I was excited about
Good
that.
stuff.
It's been
You
it's
are a
been like a week.
professional YouTuber.
That's right. It's been like a week since I got monetized. So yeah.
Oh, you only
Um
just got monetized.
yeah.
Wait, so you made twenty
So
dollars in a week?
yeah. Yeah.
So
20 bucks a week.
presumably $80 a month?
That's a little optimistic, a little too optimistic probably, but yeah, something like that.
I mean,
If I was when I uploaded the video, I got, $6 or something.
yeah.
So that helped. Otherwise it's like maybe a dollar. I don't know, but yeah, I'm
I mean,
happy
it's
about that.
not nothing. You know,
Yeah.
that's where you're at now. Hopefully it will grow, and that is bordering on a meaningful amount of money if you're talking about an entire year of, you
Yeah.
know, some income. That's
Yeah. YouTube bought me lunch this week. So that's cool.
yeah, that is cool.
Okay, we can wrap
Congrats.
this up.
Cool. Yeah, it's been weird because we haven't really had the podcast in the past few weeks. Just vaguely, what's your plan? What's your timeline for the next thing or whatever?
Okay, I'm trying to finish a drawing by or before Wednesday because I gotta. I'm trying to
Right.
record my next like dialogue on Wednesday and then upload another video. Oh my God, by Sunday, I guess. Next week, next weekend. So finish a drawing, and I wanna post it somewhere, like make it official
Hmm.
that I'm doing a drawing, posting a new drawing every 2 weeks, and then posting a new video every 2 weeks. They just alternate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta figure that out, but that's what I'm trying to do. So I guess this weekend I'll try to post a drawing somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know how much that matters, but yeah,
No, I like that
that's my
though.
plan. Drawing,
Okay.
drawing, video, whatever. What's your
Cool.
plan?
Well, I want to be doing a blog post every month. So I did a September blog post. I'm going to need to do an October blog post. So for the blog, that's the current goal. Probably not going to think too much about it this week, but I think next week I will get serious. So might commit to a deadline as of next podcast. And then it's been a little bit of a weird couple weeks, in part because we haven't done the podcast, and apparently I start to get a little off the rails unless we're talking about it every week. So try and do better. But I am working a lot on my current big project, the audiobook ebook thing. Did actually make some good progress with that. So I'm trying to shape up like a real goal that I'm going to commit to like have it released and all that kind of stuff. So I was
Okay.
hoping to overlap your MegaCon goal, but for I guess we don't know if that's happening.
I don't I don't know yet, and I probably won't know for a while, but you can
Okay.
still wrap it in there. I still committed to doing a booth somewhere in
Right. Okay.
2020. What year is this? Next year, 2026.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can talk more about that. But that's more or less what I'm feeling is trying to get this thing shipped by then. All right. Good work. Good to be back. Fingers crossed we will be back next week. So we'll see everybody then.